We are at Reggae Sunskirt, the 20th edition. You are watching the live web TV, and I am joined with Mike Love and Sam. How are you both doing?
We're so good. Amazing.
You both played, we don't need to translate that one, sorry. It's habit, it's a matter of habit. I look over to him. You played your set already. How did it go down? How was that?
Donc tu as déjà joué ton set, ça s'est bien passé?
It was so beautiful. The people had so much energy, and it just felt massive, huge, and so much love and so much healing. It's our last show in France of the tour before we head to Germany tomorrow. So it was just an amazing way to end it.
Ouais, c'était vraiment un show super beau, avec plein d'énergie, avec beaucoup d'amour. Donc c'est notre dernier show en France. Voilà, c'était super.
Speaking of the tour, you tour quite relentlessly. I've looked on your website. There's just so many dates. How do you maintain the energy? How does it work for you?
Well, it's healing music, so it's like any kind of, I think, energy worker, to where when we go up there and we open ourselves up to the energy of the universe, and then we pull that in. So we're not really necessarily using a lot of our own energy, because we're kind of just channeling that energy, that healing energy of the universe. And then we get an amazing, like today, we get an amazing circle of energy going, and we're even more energized. So we find that we can play, 20 nights in a row without getting tired, because we get so much energy from the shows that sometimes we can barely sleep afterwards.
Donc tu tournes beaucoup. Comment arrives-tu à garder cette énergie? Et il dit que en fait c'est pas leur propre énergie qu'ils gardent, ils utilisent l'énergie de l'univers, et que c'est un cercle d'énergie qui leur permet de continuer. Et voilà.
Can you talk about the significance of calling your tour the beginning of days? What does that mean to you? What do you mean to say with that?
Sorry, I go for it.
Well, the beginning of days to me is like a lot of, especially the Christian religion, is a lot of fear-based things centered around the end of days and Armageddon, and I feel like a lot of that has been kind of ramped up to make people afraid. And to me, the beginning of days is that we're sort of living in those times, in the sort of crazy biblical end times, and I think that things are spinning so out of control that there's a reverse action happening, where there's a massive awakening happening of people, and people are just naturally, their third eyes are opening, and they're just tapping into things that they didn't even believe were possible, and it's just happening naturally, because it's like a reverse effect of all of the negative things happening. And so the beginning of days to me is that what we're in now. We're in a new beginning, really, and people are awakening, and the world is changing, and we're realizing now that if we don't make a massive change in how we live and how we affect our environment and all the symbiotic relationships that we have with all the creatures of the earth, that we won't survive. So people are really awakening to that, and they're just having a hard time denying it, I think.
Donc la question était, peux-tu nous parler de la signification du nom de la tournée Beginning of Days? Il dit que en ce moment il y a tellement de choses mauvaises qui se passent, qu'on a besoin d'un nouveau réveil, que tout le monde on a vraiment besoin d'un nouveau début, et que franchement les gens se réveillent, et que pour partir de plus belle, mais on a besoin de faire beaucoup d'efforts.
Just to talk a bit about your live setup, I've seen videos of you both actually. What a beautiful combination of your voices, actually. I must mention that, and kudos. It's not actually easy to do, combining two voices so beautifully and sweetly. But what's also striking is your pedal station, the looping. It's almost as if you're playing two instruments at once. or maybe 3, including your voice. How did you get to that level? And maybe when did you introduce the sort of pedals and that sort of thing to your setup?
Well, I came from, many years ago, I came from being the leader of a big 10-piece band. And then from there, I got frustrated with having to kind of manage so many people and keep everybody together and make sure everybody was playing their parts. And then my wife suggested that I start doing a solo gig. And so it all started there. And then eventually I just built it up, and it wasn't something that I planned, but it just happened naturally. And then more people started being into that than the big band, and so the big band just kind of faded away, and this project got bigger, and that's when I started touring, and Sam started playing with me, and yeah.
Donc la question était, dans tes vidéos, on te voit jouer avec, surtout avec ta guitare, loop station, des effets et tout ça. Et comment as-tu commencé à jouer comme ça? Et la réponse, avant il avait un groupe avec 10 musiciens, c'était difficile à gérer, les égos, les machins, tout ça. Donc sa femme lui a suggéré de commencer à jouer solo, et c'est comme ça qu'il a joué. Puis après il a rencontré Sam et ils ont joué ensemble. Voilà.
And to talk of your song Permanent Holiday, which really resonates with so many people, I want to know, did you write it without the loop station, or did you do it with? Because you've got a really awesome sort of breakdown bit where you have your different layers of your voices, and is that something that you had in mind as you were writing the song, or did it come afterwards?
Well, the whole song was written, and a lot of times, you know, I'll write a song and mostly just work on it vocally, and all the rest of the music will just kind of be in my head. And then that part in the middle, I was hiking one day and I had the lyrics for that part, and you know, it was just kind of a very the rhythm of it was just you know, a very kind of steady. I won't be manipulated, mind controlled, and inundated. And I kind of had that idea to have that really, at that part, break down to a very droning kind of rhythm. And then the idea popped into my head that with the loop station, I could split it all up and do it like a root note and a keyboard bubble, you know? And so I just sort of started I wrote it all out and I memorized it, and then one day I just went to a gig and did it, and I didn't know if it would work or not, but as soon as I did it, everybody just went crazy, and I was like, oh, I guess it works.
Yeah, it sounds phenomenal. It's really
Thank you.
Donc la question était, ta chanson Permanent Holiday a vraiment eu un succès auprès de beaucoup de gens. Comment as-tu écrit cette chanson basée avec la loop station et tout ça? Et la réponse, c'est qu'il commençait par la voix, il commence souvent par travailler par la voix, il était en train de marcher. Et petit à petit, la partie du milieu, il a eu l'idée, puis finalement il l'a joué en live, et puis il s'est rendu compte que ça marchait super bien. Voilà.
So you mentioned you are off to Germany tomorrow. What else do you have coming up? Do you have any more recordings coming out that we could expect?
Yeah, so we're doing the rest of this European tour. We're going to Germany and Amsterdam and UK and Belgium and Poland. And then we're headed home to the States for a couple weeks before we go home to Hawaii. And then after that, we're pretty much spending the rest of the year at home just working on our new album. Yeah.
Donc la question était, qu'est-ce que le futur t'attend? Il dit qu'il a beaucoup de tournées en Europe en ce moment, après ils vont retourner aux States encore un peu, puis après ils retournent à Hawaï pour travailler sur le prochain album.
Well, Mike and Sam, thank you so much for joining us here at Reggae Sunscott. It's the 20th edition, and it's been so beautiful having you and your music here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.